Questions on Quora. What should I do if my daughter of 12 years has a boyfriend and didn't tell me? Uh, hmm. You don't do anything. Maybe you can stop and think that she probably didn't tell you because she figured you would freak out. I mean, a lot of parents tend to freak out if their kid is young and has a boyfriend or girlfriend, which is stupid. You know, and just because they have a boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't, especially if they're young, doesn't automatically mean anything is going to happen. Just fucking chill. Would I be considered a bad mom if I give my child permission to defend himself and hit the bully back? Fuck no. You wouldn't be a bad mom. Yeah, some parents these days just say, "Oh, fighting is bad," and da 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 da. Well, look here. Fighting isn't what they say the answer all the time. Sometimes though, that's what you just have to do. You know, I was raised that you don't start the fight, but you damn sure finish it. You know, people have a right to defend themselves. That's why if I'd ever had a kid, yeah, I would be teaching that kid how to fight. But I'd make sure don't ever start the fight. You start the fight, I'm whoop your ass. But you finish it. Even if you get your ass whooped, at least you gave it a shot. And then I'd teach you how to keep from getting your ass whooped in case another situation happens. Or the same jackass decides to fight you. Or somebody else decides to fight you just because you lost. Okay. My son keeps hiding websites he's been going to on his laptop from us. So me and my wife spent $450 to build a camera into his room so we can see what he's been doing. He moved nearly everything out of his room into our casita. What, living room? Oh. What do we do? Stop being a nosy fucking bitch. Shit. How many fucking parents do you think throughout the previous generations, monitored every single goddamn thing they did? I don't know of any. He may be looking at porn. He may not. He may just not like the fact that you're in his fucking business. I don't know anybody who likes to have people in their business all the time. Except for the ones that show everything online, but still, that's their choice. They chose to put everything on the internet, on social media, for all their friends and whatnot to see. They didn't have, it's not like if you hacking into somebody's computer, then yeah, it's essentially what you're fucking doing. You're putting a surveillance camera in his room so that way you can see what the hell he's looking at online. Hey, can you say trust issues? I'm sorry, if you have a kid and you can't trust them, then that's on you as a parent. You should be able to trust your kids. Trust in the way you raise them. If you can't do that, then you should rethink the way you are as a parent. My mom choked me when she saw my self-harm cuts. Is this a normal reaction? Hell fuck no. It is not any normal reaction for a parent to choke their child, no matter what. Especially if they're doing something like self-harming. Okay, you gotta stop and think why that child is self-harming. It's not for shits and giggles. You know, choking them isn't going to stop it. All that's going to do is add to it. You just may cause them to go from, cutting themselves to do something even worse. People that, from my understanding, those who cut themselves, they do it because that is a release from all the mental, emotional anguish that they deal with on a regular basis. It's like trading one pain for the next. Because, if you're cutting yourself, for some people, that's a way to, trade one pain for the next. It's easier to deal with the cut than it is the other shit. And sometimes I think it would be considered a, I don't know, chemical, emotional reaction. Somehow it makes you feel better. I don't know. I mean, I've never been a cutter necessarily. I have done things purposely to hurt myself growing up and even as an adult. Not because, I wanted to get rid of pain. I wanted to hurt myself because it was all the negative emotions about how I am, shit that's not going right, can't ever seem to get anything to go the way I want in my life. Feeling like a complete utter piece of shit. And I would get so pissed off at myself that I would do things to cause, real pain because I felt I deserved it. How do I tell my doctor I'm sexually active if I don't want my mom to know? Should I just not tell my doctor? No. That's one problem with a lot of people. When they go to the doctor, they want to omit things. Well, if you don't tell a doctor shit, they can't fully help you right. They can't help you with whatever is actually bothering, what's going on with your body. You tell them anything. You tell them your diet, you tell them your daily activities, you tell them medical history, all of that. Because they're there to try to help you get better. Or to help you prevent from shit happening. Now, as far as relaying certain things that you tell a doctor to your parent, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think they are required to tell your parents. Even though if you're a minor, unless it's something that's going on illegal, I believe that probably falls under doctor-patient confidentiality, to where it's just between you and your doctor. You know, if doctors fucking went around, you know, telling everything about all their patients, they probably wouldn't have hardly any patients. Just like with therapists. But, like I said, I don't know 100% for sure. But that's just my thinking. Alright, let's see if we can find another good question. Am I a bad girl because I did what I think is right? What is the sign of a bad girl? Depends on context. Are you a bad girl because you did what you think was right? No, you're not a bad girl for that. Nobody is a bad person for doing what they think is right. Now, sometimes they may have been misguided in what they thought was right, and it may have turned out to be the wrong thing for the situation, or it may have caused other other things to snowball. But in the end, chances are it's going to be a good thing that you did what you think is right. I can't say to not ever do what you think is right. You should do what you fully believe is the right thing to do, even if somebody gets mad at you for it at the moment. But over time, they'll probably realize that, okay, yeah, you were right. And what's the sign of a bad girl? Someone who didn't try to do the right thing. Sitting back and not saying anything, not doing anything when you know something wrong is going on. Am I a failure if I don't get all straight A's? No. Just because you don't get straight A's, it's not the fucking end of the world. Shit. How many people in this country or in this world you think that get straight A's? Okay? And how many of them that didn't get straight A's in school, or shit, didn't even finish school, and are successful in various different fields? Just because and some people think, oh, just because I don't, if I don't get straight A's, people think I'm stupid and da da da. No, I didn't get straight A's. I passed. I graduated. Could have graduated higher if I could put more effort into it. But, just doesn't mean that you're a failure just because you don't get straight A's. Would you send your daughter back to school if she were beaten until she was unconscious by about 20 boys? Definitely not that school. It would cause me to think long and hard about even sending her back to any school. If I had kids. I think pretty much any parent that, had their kid that treated that way would be a knee-jerk reaction to homeschool. Or find a way to afford a tutor. Or get, you know, family and friends to help with that kid's education. You know, well, these days, shit, you got fucking online courses for school. But, yeah, I don't think I could, if I had a kid, I'd be in a hurry to send them back to any school. But, again, you know, just because one thing happened at one school doesn't mean the same thing is going to happen at the next school. You know, you can't always predict how people are going to be. And really, you can't live your life if you're in constant fear of shit happening. Is it okay for a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old to be friends? I am 15 and one of my best internet friends is a year and 9 months younger than me. Yes, it is okay for a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old to be friends. There's nothing wrong with it. See, there's a difference in general and between friendship and more. You know, and besides, even if the friendship turned into more, there's two things. It's not wrong morally for a 15 or 13-year-old to be in a relationship. You know, you're less than 3 years apart. And so also legally, if there was a relationship, there would not be any problem. Because from my understanding, unless you live in a state that specifically says, you know, any minor having sex is illegal. Which, from according to like state of Texas, I looked it up to answer another question. If you are both under 17 or both under 18 within 3-year age gap, and as long as one of you is not under 13, it's okay from the legal aspect. Her parents may not appreciate it, you know, but as far as the legality goes, it's not illegal. So if it's not illegal to be in a relationship and have sex, then it's definitely not illegal to be friends. Every time a guy hits on me on social media, I let him know I'm not trying to date right now, but they keep forcing themselves on me. What should I do? Stop being friends with them. Block them. If you tell them that you're not interested in anything other than a friendship, you're not trying to deal with them hitting on you, you know, talking a certain way. You gave them the warning. They didn't heed to it. block them. And if they continue harassing you, report them. You know, report them to whatever social media you're on. If that doesn't stop it, if you have to, get the fucking cops involved. I'm not a big fan of the cops, but sometimes you have to use them to cover your own ass. I'm a 16-year-old girl and bought some Old Spice men's deodorant. And my family thinks it's the most heinous thing I've ever done. Is it wrong for women to use men's deodorant? No. It's not wrong to use men's deodorant. You know, most women use women's deodorant, especially the ones, I don't know if all of them, I know some brands, they're designed for the way that a woman's body is chemically. So that's the part of the reason. And the other reason, I think some women's deodorants have fragrances. But if you either think that a man's deodorant is going to work better for you, or you just like the smell of men's deodorant versus women's deodorant, then go for it. There's no written rule that says a woman can't use a men's deodorant. And there's no written rule that says men can't use women's deodorant. I mean, shit. It's fucking deodorant. As long as it does its job, use it. Does sleeping with a bra on make breasts smaller? They can. According to what I'd heard years ago about a interview on the radio from this woman who had designed a new bra for women. I think it was called like a new U bra or something like that. And it said that wearing the wrong size alone can actually shrink the overall breast, because prolonged wearing of it pushes the tissues in the breast off to the side, and end up pushing around the side of your body. And the way that bra is designed is it helps push it back in place to where it belongs. And I've also read, or from what I remember, that doctors saying that it is unhealthy, for your breast to be wearing bras while you sleep. I don't remember the exact things that it was talking about, but that was the gist of it. It is actually it is hindering proper breast health. And breast is part of your body, so you want to have them in healthy shape along with the rest of you. Is there any psychological reasons behind a 17-year-old girl playing with dolls, i.e., literally make them talk? Maybe. Maybe not. Shit, look at the fucking ventriloquists that are around today, like Jeff Dunham. He been doing it since he was a kid. I think he started with the actual ventriloquist doll, but still. You know, you make do with what you got. I'm 13. My classmates look at girls' breasts and butt sizes, but I only look at girls' faces. Is it good or bad? Well, I won't say it's bad. I mean, I myself, don't get me wrong, I admire, you know, looking at a girl's breast, or a woman's breast. Whenever I was that age, I looked at a girl's breast. But, and a woman's ass. But no matter what size the breast or ass is, how nice they look, if she doesn't have a pretty face, in my eyes, I'm not really going to be that interested. You know, for me, that's what the biggest attraction is. Aside from the initial attraction is actually the face. You know, if a woman's got a pretty face, pretty eyes, she can be the flattest chested and tiniest assed woman around. But if she's got a pretty face, I'll be more inclined to want to get to know her, to talk to her, than the rest, from what the rest of her looks like. My neighbor's bedroom window can be seen from my living room, and I am sure from others too. She leaves the curtain open with the lights on while she undresses. Should I tell her that the neighbors can see her? I don't think you have to. I mean, if anyone, male or female, is walking around in their bedroom, in their living room, wherever, they have neighbors, but they have their curtains or blinds or whatever open. If they know they got neighbors that are close enough by, they know their neighbors can see them. If they gave a shit, they wouldn't be leaving it open like that to where anybody can see. So apparently, they don't care. And there might be some that probably enjoy the idea of showing off. They just do it from inside their house rather than out in public. Should I look away if I see my neighbor getting naked? Well, it is technically, the more polite thing to do. But then again, if you can see your neighbor getting naked and you don't mind the view, if it was me, I'd probably watch. And if she had looked at the window or was in her backyard or whatever and seen that I had been looking, then if she wants to get pissy about it and say, hey, you're the one putting on the damn show. Don't get pissed at me just because I'm seeing what you're showing. What city is more major and important to the U.S. economy? Dallas or Houston? Good question. Because Dallas, from what I'd gathered whenever I was living there, it's more of a tourist attraction as far as their revenue goes. You know, Houston has plenty of tourist attractions, within the actual city of Houston and the surrounding areas. But the biggest thing for the overall economy of the country is the Houston Ship Channel. If when you stop and think about the fact that that ship channel is one of the largest ports as far as the number of ships that are in and out all the time, the amount of cargo that's brought in to that location, I believe that as far as the U.S. economy, the Houston would be the bigger thing for the revenue. Why does he have to make me feel guilty when I catch him doing something guilty? Because he doesn't like the fact that you caught him. He wants to try to spin things to make you feel bad for catching him doing something that he knew you wouldn't like. Men and women do that. There's a lot of them that they'll try to turn the tables on you and make you feel guilty for busting them for doing shit that they shouldn't be doing, no matter what it is. Why does my partner make me feel guilty for having a high sex drive? Because they can't keep up. That's my main thing I can think of. If you have a high sex drive but your partner doesn't, they're going to feel kind of obligated, for sex. It goes beyond it kind of goes beyond the joy. If y'all don't have the same matching sex drives, the one that doesn't have the high sex drive like you do is likely, not always, but sometimes, may try to make you feel bad about how much you want to have sex, simply because they can't keep up. They don't have the same drive that you do. So in order to keep you from constantly wanting sex from them, or to try to go find it from somewhere else, they would rather make you feel bad to kind of nix that idea. To bring you down to their level. If I was in a relationship with a woman who had a higher sex drive than me, which would be a surprise, yeah, it's called masturbation. I would buy her toys, all different, so that way she could have something for whenever she felt in the mood, whenever I didn't, or I was too tired to do anything. I believe I may have made a wrong eyewitness criminal photo identification. How does that affect the investigation, the suspect, and myself? Ooh. Boy, you could have... Depends on how much your eyewitness account, being able, pointing out identifying that person, how much of a difference it would have made. How much of the investigation was hinging on that ID. If it was, high amount, if there was like 95% of their investigation was going to be on you being able to ID that person as the suspect, and then it turns out that you were wrong, for number one, if you feel that you made a mistake, you let them know. Don't keep quiet, because if you do, that's going to end up getting the wrong person arrested and the one that actually did the crime to get away with it. Yeah, granted, if you had made the wrong ID, they may have to prolong the investigation, they may have to start it over, but it's better to know before it gets to the point to where someone gets arrested, and possibly convicted for something they didn't do. That's one of the really most fucked up things about our justice system now, is that people get wrongly convicted. Is it bad that I don't want to be a Christian but my mom wants me to? No, it is not bad. Religion is a personal choice. If you're as a young kid, you may, if your parents are Christian and they go to church, it's one thing if you go with them, go through the motions and whatnot, but you may not actually, it may not feel right for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you reach the point to where, you feel that religion isn't right for you, have the courage to tell your parents. Whether it's both your parents or just your mom, speak up. Yeah, granted, she may not like it, or they may not like it, because you're not following the same thing that they're doing, but you have to be your own person. I myself, it wasn't until after, I had been out of the house, and I think I was, 20, 21 years old, around there, whenever I had finally told, my parents that, I mainly told my mom, that I got into Wicca. And of course, she wanted, she kind of wanted to know why I got into Wicca. And I told her about Wicca and how it felt more right for me. And of course, as I'm, studying more about it, and studying, in general about my bloodline, the Celtic blood, come to a realization that, yeah, before Christianity was spread and forced upon people, that a lot of the Celts, they practiced witchcraft. It may have Some of them, may have been, Druids, but still, it wasn't Christianity. Christianity, Christianity didn't feel right for me. It never did. You know, I told my mom, I said, hey, all the times that I was going to church and whatnot, it was because you and Dad were. You know, that was a whole. I went through the motions just because you and Dad were going, and I didn't really have a dick else to do. And plus, a few of my friends from school went to the same church. So hey, bonus, I get to hang out with my friends, outside of school. Is my mom saying she can't move on until she knows everything I'm doing and everything I've done over controlling? Yeah. It is completely fucking controlling. I don't understand what it is with parents who think they have to know every minute fucking detail about what their kid does. I mean, how the hell does a parent live their fucking life if they have to be in their child's business that much? If you feel the need to know every single thing that child is doing, or every single thing that child has done, or thinking about, then you're no longer a parent. You are a fucking warden. That kid is not your child. That kid is your fucking prisoner. Think how well it went for some governments that were that way. It didn't go very well for the people. And it ended up not going well for the ones that was in charge. I started sleeping shirtless, but then my mom told me to stop and started getting mad at me. Why? I don't know, maybe because she's weird like that. And you're at home. You should be comfortable at home. And if you're in your bedroom, in your bed, whatever the fuck you wear is your goddamn business. You can sleep shirtless. You can sleep nude for all it matters. Why? Because you're by yourself in your bed. Nobody else is seeing you. You could sleep on top of the damn covers like that if you felt like it. If your mom walked in and seen that and got upset, well, sorry, bitch, you shouldn't have fucking opened up the goddamn door without knocking first. And if the kid's a hard sleeper and you just have to go in, well, you just gonna have to deal with seeing them naked. Sorry about your luck, but they're just because you don't think, you don't want to see your kid without a shirt on, or know about your kid being without a shirt on at home, in their own room, doesn't mean it's right. Is waxing good for my 13-year-old girl? Why would you wax a kid that age? Why would any kid need to be waxing at 13? I'm not 100% versed, because I don't have kids. I don't never ask any female friends about the amount of hair growth that they had at that age, because I didn't care. But I don't know. Why would he? Why? Why? Would any 13-year-old girl be waxing? You know? That's what the razor's for. You want to do waxing? Wait until you're older. You know? And waxing depends on what area you're waxing. If you don't get it done by a person who knows what they're doing, even if they're waxing their legs, from my understanding, a hot wax can hurt like a motherfucker. Is it okay to put a camera in your 16-year-old daughter's room? No. It is not okay. I don't care how fucking paranoid you are about what that kid is doing. You know, if you're concerned about their physical safety, put the camera outside the bedroom window, up at an angle, to where it's just looking right outside that window. To keep an eye in case any intruders trying to come in, whether it's a boyfriend you don't know about, or whether it's somebody else that's coming in to do something wrong, or she's trying to sneak out. You know, that's what you do. But no, you don't need to be putting video camera, surveillance equipment in your teenager's room. That's fucking paranoia, and you need goddamn help. Alright. Well, I think I've wasted enough of your time today. If you feel like it, you can join me next time. Because I may or may not be doing this again. It depends on how I feel.